Two hearts are thrilling in spite of the chill.
Welcome back to this week's edition of Death Diaries. I'm Lauren McPeak, and this week for your Christmas edition, we will be talking about a college misguidance mystery. Let's check it out. It was a late night on December 12, 2017, when Mrs. Lafferty and Mrs. Donano were finishing up their college guidance handbook, due before Christmas.
These application boot camps are killing us.
I know.
I'm heading out.
All right. Have a good night.
Don't work too late. I'll see you
I'll try.
in the morning.
All right. See you in the morning.
Bye.
On December 12th, around 10:30 p.m., Mrs. Carla Lafferty had an unexpected visitor, and they weren't there to help her out with her college workbook.
What are you doing? Wait. Stop. What are you doing?
On the cold morning of December 13th, Mrs. Zorbas was walking into work when she discovered something she will never be able to unsee.
Oh my God!
What happened? Mrs. Carla Lafferty was found dead, with 32 stab wounds to the chest and strangled around her neck with an unknown source.
We secured the crime scene and detained all witnesses for interview later, then recorded all evidence found, that being Play-Doh, an iPad charger, and 2 pens, one of the pens being believed to be the murder weapon.
Two hearts are thrilling in spite of the chill.
It is now time for our commercial break. We'll be right back.
Do you guys like microwaves? We'll come down here and buy one because we really need to sell this.
Shine down through the night. Two hearts are thrilling in spite of the chill weather.
And we're back. Police investigators conducted many interviews for college guidance to see if we can get on any leads for the story.
Hello, Mr. Robinson. What was your relationship with Mrs. Lafferty?
She was my boss. She was the director of college guidance.
And where were you on the night of the murder?
I think I was at the gym. Or no, I think I was at dinner with my wife.
Okay. And have you been seeing any weird activity with any other co-workers between Miss Lafferty?
No, we all loved her.
Mrs. Zorbas, with the recent death, I just want to ask you a few questions.
Yeah,
How close were you with Mrs. Lafferty?
we were close. She was so sweet.
And has there been any arguments recently between any of the co-workers that would link any of them to maybe wanting to do this?
I don't think so. I haven't heard anyone. Oh, wait a minute. She did argue. She argued with Stephanie yesterday.
Hey, have you finished your part for the handbook yet?
Yes, I finished my part, and I finished your part, and I finished yours part. I don't know how many parts I could possibly do.
You need to stop acting like you do all the work here, Stephanie.
I feel like
You don't do anything. I'm doing everything, and I've had it. Get this done.
There's a party in your office 24/7 while I'm working.
An ink analysis was conducted to see which pen was linked to the murder. We dipped 3 samples, one being the swab from the body, and the others being both pens found. Our results, the NACAC pen matched.
After forensic scientists analyzed the 2 pens found in college guidance, the pen that was linked to the murder was the NACAC pen, which was found in Miss Donano's office. Now she is a prime suspect for our case.
Hello, Miss Donano. Would you please describe your relationship with Mrs. Lafferty?
Mrs. Lafferty and I have had a relationship for probably 12 years. We taught 3rd grade together for several years in the lower school, and then I moved over to college guidance, and she's been the director of college guidance, and we get along wonderfully.
How about the fight that happened the other day?
Oh, that wasn't really a fight. Sometimes we just tend to get on each other about the amount of work that we have and we're stressed, but we really do get along quite well.
And what about this NACAC pen we found in your office?
I don't know much about the pen, but I do know that NACAC is a organization that college counselors belong to, and this year they had a convention in Boston for all college counselors to go to.
And do you know who went to that?
Mr. Robinson represented our office at the NACAC convention this year.
Hello, Mr. Robinson. Sorry to interrupt, but we need to ask you for more questions about Mrs. Lafferty's murder. Do you know anything about the NACAC brand?
No more questions, please. No more questions. You guys have already asked me enough. Come on now.
Welcome back to Fox 40 Unreserved. Police investigators have finally released 3 pieces of evidence in the Carla Lafferty murder case, that being pens, Play-Doh, and an iPad charger. If you know anything about these items or anything linked with the murder case, please call emergency services and let them know.
911, what's your emergency?
So I was watching the TV this morning and I saw that if anyone had any leads on the murder of Carla Lafferty, they should come forward. And so my acquaintance, Jordan Robinson, I noticed something very weird about him. The other day he disposed of large amounts of Play-Doh. It was just very unusual. So I think maybe he might have something to do with it.
Thank you so much. May I get a name for this call?
My name is Brianna Fenty.
Alright, thank you. With a new lead of the NACAC pen being Mr. Robinson's, his alibi not adding up, and the disposal of Play-Doh, is Mr. Robinson behind this murder? Where did the iPad charger come from? And the shoe print in the Play-Doh? Stay tuned to find out.
Shine down through the night. 2 hearts are thrilling, inspired.
Investigators asked the Student Center if anyone had recently bought a charger. The employees told investigators Mr. Robinson did. But on the receipt, it said Daniel Katuga.
Hello, Mr. Katuga. May I ask you one question?
What's that?
Do you remember buying an iPad charger recently from the Student Center?
Let me think. No.
Here you can see both receipts from Mr. Katuga do not have the same flourishes, which means the signature of the charger is forged. We asked all suspects to write down the word SEMA, and as you see here, Mr. Robinson's writing has the same unusual letter I flourish.
With all leads pointing at Mr. Robinson, police investigators were granted a warrant to search and seize his work office. The Play-Doh shoe print found at the crime scene matched the shoes in Mr. Robinson's office. We even found remnants of Play-Doh of the exact color on the bottom of his shoe. Mr. Robinson is our guy. It's time to bring him in for first-degree murder. But Mr. Robinson flew out to Jamaica 2 days before we could get him.